I'm going to talk about two of the dirtiest tricks an online seller can do to coin collectors, especially newbies. But I have one little trick that can help you out a little bit, and we're going to talk about that. So, my name is Daniel, and you're watching Coin Help You. And online fraud is rampant, and people using jacked up images and descriptions. There's a lot of great sellers online, but there are a few that you just don't want to do business with because they're going to manipulate their images, make false claims. They're either crooks or they have no idea what they're doing and shouldn't be selling coins. So let's start off with 1892S Morgan Dollar. And I'm starting off with that coin for a reason. Anybody that knows Morgan Dollars knows the 92S can be extremely valuable as it increases in grade. It is definitely one of those coins that condition grade matters. So as you can see, if it's graded G4 by PCGS, they've got a high retail of 65. That's a little high, but $45 anyways. 150 in fine 12, $600 in 40, $8,000 in AU 55. Proof like 150,000 and 63. And then it doesn't have a grade for any dimples, but it's called it the VAM2 double date. So we can click on the proof like and look at the lowest, let's say a 60 in proof like. Two of them have been graded. They have a value of $60,000 on them. So if you had this coin, if you had a 92S and you thought it was proof like, or even if it was AU, you would send it off for grading. I mean, look at the AU price here. We can $2,750 in the lowest AU. Even extra fine 45 is 900. It's worth sending off for grading if it's very fine 30. So if you had this coin, you would send it off for grading to make sure that it is problem free and that you can get the most money out of it, right? Well, no, not everybody. Not if you're unscrupulous. Accidentally ran into this here. Everybody knows who this is. They changed their name. Horrible feedback for the amount of transactions. They're known to manipulate their images with lighting. So they have this 92S up here. And currently it's up to $660. And this is the funny thing. Capture the beauty of coins with crystal clear photography. That is not crystal clear. Are you kidding me? I don't know how people can make those claims. That's a false claim. This is more crystal clear than that. This is my image. You can actually see the details of the coin. It's not perfect, but it's not blinding out any of the marks or anything. It's not hiding anything that's there. This coin here I considered semi-proof like. It's a nice coin. So here the coin ended at $6,701. The same coin has the same mark right here. Everything's the same. The same amount of breast feathers and all that. Don't know whether the deal fell through or the guy that has a little bit of the money to buy this. Anybody has $6,700 should be a little conservative about what they're buying online. Either wasn't happy with it or they didn't get what they wanted out of it and canceled it. I don't know. Can't prove anything. Then they had another one very similar to this. And here's another seller that's doing the same stuff. $610 for a coin that shouldn't have went for more than 100, if that. I mean, it's cleaned. It's obviously all marked up. Didn't do a very good job of even blurring it out. Then here's another one. This is a different coin, but it's very similar in nature. Probably extra fine, but sold for $760. But these coins are going to be clean. Here's another one. This is very fine at best. $218, but it's going to be clean or they wouldn't blind it out. If you thought you had a coin this nice, you would send it off. You might not get more than this out of it if it's cleaned. So I'm not really sure what happened there. That deal fell through. But if it's not clean, problem free, it's an auction coin. But you would do this if you know it's cleaned and something's wrong. You would blind it out and try to sell it. This is where the trick comes in. Not only is it's a dirty trick to use lighting to hide and mask and blurring to hide and mask and manipulate your images. That's outright fraud. Another thing that people do, you can look through eBay and search and find coins like this. And this coin, you can't see it very well, but you can tell it has some reflective quality to it. You can tell it's probably in the AU range. And I'm not seeing if there's lines. Looks like there might be lines, but it doesn't really matter if you're buying this and brightening out or smoothing out or lighting out or using light to mask the details. Maybe even dip it when you get it. And they take it out of this holder, put it up on their site and sell it for the 6. You saw the 6,000. This is something that I've seen happen so often. And these manipulations of the images, blurring out and using lighting to cover up and mask they've been doing it for so long. I don't understand why there's not a program. It can be AI, it doesn't have to be AI, but there are programs that can identify the brightness or at least an image and say, hold on, reject it. This image doesn't have enough detail or too much light in this image for the coin. There's got to be a way of doing it just to reject these so that they can't post them in the first place. I know it's going to be a hassle for some people. There's no perfect answer to this, but there has to be a program to do this so that they don't have to worry about hiring or not having enough people on staff to weed these out. These need weeded out. They're a big problem online. People should not be allowed to do this. Now, I know everybody's going to say, well, it's money. It's money. Well, I will tell you this. More people have left eBay because this is allowed than have stayed. If this is going to be prevented and eBay becomes a safer place to buy coins, more people will come back to eBay and respect eBay. They'll make more money. So it makes more sense to draw the people back in and get rid of this junk than in thinking they're going to make enough money to survive just off of these 3 or 4 sellers that are doing this all the time. I just don't think they're making that much money to justify leaving these 4 or 5 sellers on here and letting them post images like this. And there's probably more than 4 or 5, but there's some really egregious ones here we talk about. I've done videos on like this one here. It's a constant battle. It's a constant thing. So as a newbie, what do? How do you wade through this? The first thing you want to do is you want to go through all of the 92S sold. When you see a coin like that and you're thinking, you look at the price guide, you're like, man, it's worth thousands of dollars if that's in that condition. This seller's got this feedback almost 100%. You're not looking at the negatives. You're not looking at the modified feedback that was changed or the neutrals. You're just looking at that coin and you start getting starry-eyed thinking you're going to hit a big giant home run. The best thing to do is come over here and see if you can find that coin that's already sold. Like this, or like this, or like this. That could have been cracked out and used by one of these sellers. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I know that I proved that by one seller was doing that. I do know that I've bought some coins that were cracked out of holders. I've actually bought a gold coin one time that was extremely rare, only less than 100 known, and it had passed the rounds too. It sold on Heritage in a holder. It was cracked out, sold at an auction raw, trying to get extra money out of it like it was a higher grade. So that stuff does happen. The crack out game happens. It doesn't have to be resubmitted to be cracked out, just resold. And people do this. And your best bet is to look for this. You can even go over to Heritage and see if the coin's sold at Heritage. When you're looking at these other auction sites, it doesn't have to be eBay. It can be Etsy. It can be any local auction or big auction. I don't care if it's in Texas, California, Maine. It doesn't matter. All these auction houses out here, you want to be careful because you don't know whether that supposedly rare coin was cracked out. So you want to try to find it first. This will educate you on what they're actually selling for too. You will learn a lot what looks cleaned and what doesn't. Why does this one look weird and this one doesn't? Because there's something wrong with it. I mean, that's your clue. This is what it looks like in a graded holder. You're going to see coins in holders that are already graded clean will help you identify them, because you'll see this coin and you'll look at one of these other ones and think, well, that's clean too. It's just not in a holder. That's your tricks as a newbie to prevent yourself from being defrauded with these images, the lighting, the blurring, and the crack out game. That's just such a dirty trick to do to somebody. If a coin looks clean, man, you crack it out of the holder and then resell it and blind out the details. I mean, that's just the dirtiest and the lowest of low, and you actually know you're doing it, and then claim you have crystal clear photography. It just blows my mind that someone can sleep at night knowing they're doing this to people. I mean, literally, I can't do it. I wish these people would stop doing it, but they're not. But I do think they can weed them out. I don't think eBay needs these sellers to survive. I think they can survive on other things a lot more than the coins. This is just a very small part. That's just not an excuse. That's just coins selling is just a small part of eBay's revenue. You know, eBay earns revenue through ads on their site, the sponsors, through the better sellers, through other things besides coins. eBay Motors, you've got people selling purses and shirts and electronics and computers and cameras. That's where the money's at. That's the stuff that most people are buying. Most people aren't buying coins. We don't need these bad sellers. And eBay's not thinking, "Well, we got to keep these sellers because we're going to go under if we don't." That's not the truth. Not when it comes to the coins. So you throw that out the window. I hear that every time we make these comments. That's not the reason. I just don't think eBay has figured out exactly how to eliminate posting these images, but I think one day it will happen because I know that they do have certain things going on with the AI that will reject listings. Hopefully they'll get more perfected and stop this kind of stuff. So thanks for watching my latest video. I hope this helped you a little bit, open your eyes to some things. If you're a newbie out there, this will help you out. If you're not, obviously it's not going to help you out. But thanks for watching anyways. Please join the channel. I have a membership now. Also, like, share, and comment, and have a great day.